I do want to be paid for my work, but I don't mind since the issue is importance to the safety of the community. I've been trying for years. I tried to prevent COVID before it happened, but was shut down. What happened is that I was a medical library clerk under the Federal Emergency Management Agency authors at the University of Pittsburgh, which they call PIT. CMU does not stand officially for Church Military Union, and PIT does not officially stand for Satan. But you get the idea. Carnegie Mellon University and University of Pittsburgh cahooted to have me at the Falk Medical Library in 1984, on whom they had planted the Texas School Book. What happened in before World War II is that there was a non-aggression pact between Russia and Hitler's Germany, and they went 50-50 on Poland. Pittsburgh is the kind of place where you can buy for $5 the loyalties of anybody, even a Polish, to go in 50-50 with Russia and Hitler's America, underculture of fascism, which is what Oswald symbolized, going back and forth between Russia and Dallas. It was a 50-50 gold coin of agreement after the non-aggression pact went underground because of the Wehrmacht's invasion of Russia. What was that? June of 1941 or something? I don't know. Operation something. And whatever happened in terms of pushing it all underground, it reemerged with the white Russian community in Dallas. Now, the way it operated, we now know with Gail Raven and Gail Burstyn. The Carousel Club and the Klondike Gold people around Francis Ford Coppola and Donald Trump. Charles Bronson had a namesake filming in Dealey Plaza. He was the mechanic. Mechanics do things that are very sly, and they pull fast ones. If you see the movie The Mechanic, you'll see the way they set up Dealey Plaza and the way they set up Mackenzie Shirilla, alluding to Corey as chicken licking. And of course, then there's the explosion at the end, which is Yoko Ono's revenge. Well, what they did was that they pushed LSD and sex. So they pushed sin and delusion hallucinogens. They picked out specific guinea pigs for a very special neurochemical that they deployed with the help of Hollywood for drama. Examples. They did this to me. They did this to Mackenzie Shirilla. They used a neurocompulsive, neurohypnotic agent designed by Holocaust survivors that induces an extreme situation. You cannot imagine the suffering that it inflicts. And they measured it exactly so that their agent barely survives, so that their victim barely survives, so that their object lesson barely survives. And then they get the adults to say, we're going to try you as an adult. And it's Pink Floyd's, at the end, what you feel most is to be exposed before your peers. This is the production that they planned, the concept behind it. And if that wasn't true, you wouldn't have Kyra Schoen's name all over Gail Burson's script. I mean, she changes from man to a woman and stuff. That's one of the, gimcracks in the magic bag of the Carrot Rabbit. But Kyra was the daughter of the maker of Night of the Living Dead. So, I mean, they were clearly making entertainment of a genocide system. And the people in Seattle are so depraved that rather than warn, rather than try to stop it, they joined forces and said, we get the money to be made exterminating innocent people. And they pulled a hybrid production, a drama club operation around the incubation of Mackenzie Shirilla's flattening by the strongmen of Strongsville who put this situation together. They had a woman named Mac at the clubhouse. They gave me Love's Hypnosis as a book. They had a dacoit of one of Dr. Mackenzie's close friends. I mean, Attorney Mackenzie's close friends. They had images in the paper in Strongsville of people with the names of the key players mixing chemical formulas. The names of the key players, identical. Mackenzie, Child, Thomas, Cup, Mac. They did the whole thing. They used TikTok. They had, remember, Mackenzie's a brain surgeon. And they have a line through Mackenzie Shirilla's head. I mean, this gets really creepy. I'm inclined to think that Shirilla should file a lawsuit against um, the city of Strongsville. But be that as it may happen, the bottom line is the question: does the judge realize this, or does the judge in the dark about this? Because something needs to be done. Mackenzie's a victim. Do the other victims realize this? Do they realize that there were 3 victims in that car and they should be trying to catch the perpetrators, not go after one of the other victims? In my opinion, it's analogous to a car bomb. And they're just saying she survived, so therefore she's a terrorist. And they say the same thing about me. It's like a psychopathic con job by this nutbag, Martin Sheen. They chose her probably for her initials, MS. Vince Irene, VE, has been doing this to me for time immemorial. They use, I tried when I was 14 years old to describe it. Here's a fact. When I found that letter all balled up, because I realized something had happened, I was under the delusion that John Lennon had really died. I found the script that was about harming others. I knew that they had started AIDS by then. And I found the letter and I opened it. I started having seizures. I had to get on a bus. To read it, I had to trigger the neurocompulsion. To even read it, I went out on the bus and went 1,000 miles an hour and went screaming and screaming and screaming. One of these assholes blows up Oklahoma Federal. Terry was the name of the girl in the Cara tape that Carbonell made. I mean, it was all a switchboard network. Remember Lieberman and McVeigh? Well, this is all switchboard network, Carnegie Mellon University. The branch Davidians were, hello, we're talking to Pete Gabriel. Hello, we got Joel Kaplan on the phone. Hello, Martin Edelman has it all configured. Everybody's going to get the truth. And they start blowing things up. 911. I mean, I knew really that it was a world game by then. Now I had been chosen as a little boy from the Zuclear Navy. Jimmy C. Get it? Jimmy C. is the walrus and stuff. But despite this, Jaime Carbonell, he specializes in computer mistranslation. So they were really pulling a honky tonk. I mean, mistranslation can get you convicted 2 life sentences, he yells. Mistranslation can get you 2 life sentences. This is his way of proving this charm school they call Carnegie Mellon University's theorems. Ripping off the museum, selling books back to Russia, and calling it African warriors. This really happened, is the point. And it's dishonest. When I say I should be paid for my work, it's honest work. And it's not up taking a pain. They say they're more honest because they rip off museums, profit from genocide, pornography, and rip or murder bystanders over a penny. That makes them more honest. And Seattle believes this. The city of Pittsburgh do one of these to the god of Fern Hollow Bridge's collapse. It's hard to believe how shocking it is. It's hard to believe. And you can't get a single intelligent, mature human being to address it. Not one. Not one single person. Gail Burston must have a hydrogen bomb in New York. She must be sitting pretty in the basement of some gazebo buried under Brooklyn with Spike Lee slapping five at the cellar on Barbershop. Because there's no other explanation. Now, when you get down to the root of the problem, you're dealing with administrators like Dr. Wadmaker, who were from the Holocaust survivor community, who made LSD to justify the AIDS attack. And by tuning into Mackenzie Shirilla, they just said, here's an example of why we believe that it was due punishment. But she would not have had that happen if they hadn't put that horrible neurocongestion into her body by force of peer compulsion. And they wanted to try her as an adult. Do they know what the word adult means? Do they know what the word adult means? Have they ever heard of human responsibility, pity, or mercy? In my opinion, Mackenzie Shirilla is every bit a victim as the other people in the car. And not only does she have a right to know how she was used, but the families of the other victims have a right to know how they were used too.